Borat, 2006, banned in every Arab League country except Lebanon. The film Borat is a highly controversial mockumentary and the first major film starring Sacha Baron Cohen as the titular character, a fictional Kazakhstani journalist. The plot follows Borat as he is sent to the United States to make a documentary about American culture. While there, he becomes obsessed with the idea of marrying actress Pamela Anderson and travels across the country, encountering real unsuspecting Americans. Using his outrageous, misogynistic, and anti-Semitic persona, Borat serves as a catalyst to expose the deep-seated prejudices and absurdities of the people he meets. The film's satirical intent was widely praised in the West, but it was almost universally banned across the Arab League, with Lebanon being the sole exception. A censor for Dubai's Ministry of Information reportedly called the film vile, gross, and extremely ridiculous, stating that if all the offensive scenes were cut, only 30 minutes would remain. The primary reasons for the ban were a combination of its explicit sexual content, including a notorious nude wrestling scene, and its perceived anti-Arab sentiment. Governments in the region, guided by strict moral and religious codes, viewed the film's content as a direct violation of public decency. The satire was lost on them. They saw the film not as a critique of Western bigotry, but as a genuine mockery of their values, culture, and religion. Lebanon's exemption from the ban highlights its more liberal media landscape.
I like you. I like it's nice.
Spider-Man: Across the Spider-Verse, 2023, banned in UAE, Oman, Bahrain, Jordan, and Egypt. Spider-Man: Across the Spider-Verse picks up the story of Miles Morales, now an established hero, who is suddenly thrust back into the multiverse. He reunites with Gwen Stacy, and together they are launched into an epic adventure across countless universes, meeting hundreds of other spider people. The plot centers on a central conflict: Miles' desire to forge his own path and save a loved one, which clashes with the rigid canon events that the leader of the Spider Society, Miguel O'Hara, insists must occur in every universe to prevent its collapse. This philosophical divide sets the stage for a dramatic and unresolved cliffhanger, leaving the audience eagerly anticipating the next installment. The movie was quietly pulled from cinema listings just days before its scheduled release. While no official statements were made, the reason for the ban is widely reported to be the inclusion of a single brief scene. During a sequence in Gwen Stacy's room, a transgender pride flag with the text, "Protect Trans Kids," is visible on the wall. This subtle reference to LGBTQ+ rights and identities, while minor in the context of the film's overall plot, was deemed to be in violation of local media content laws and cultural values in these countries. Governments in the region often censor or prohibit content that they believe promotes homosexuality or gender identity, which are considered to be at odds with their conservative, often religious, societal norms. The ban of Spider-Man: Across the Spider-Verse follows a pattern seen with other major studio films containing LGBTQ+ elements, such as Disney's Lightyear. For these nations, a fleeting visual cue was enough to contradict their strict censorship regulations and prevent the film's release.
Hey! Look out! Can you take a photo of this? It's our first chase.
Zoolander, 2001, banned in Malaysia and Singapore. Zoolander, a satirical comedy directed by and starring Ben Stiller, is a cult classic that has no official prequels but was followed by the sequel Zoolander 2, 2016. The film's plot follows the titular character, a dim-witted male supermodel who, after losing his top spot to rival Hansel, Owen Wilson, becomes a pawn in a sinister plot. A cabal of high-fashion moguls, led by the eccentric Mugatu, Will Ferrell, brainwashes Derek to assassinate the Prime Minister of Malaysia. This assassination is intended to prevent the Prime Minister from implementing labor laws that would end the fashion industry's reliance on cheap child labor. The film's outrageous humor and biting parody of the fashion world have solidified its status as a beloved comedy. However, the film was officially banned from theatrical release in both Malaysia and Singapore. The reason for the ban was directly tied to the film's central plot. The governments of these nations took serious offense to the satirical storyline involving a plot to assassinate the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Censors viewed the content as highly insensitive and inappropriate, as it directly named a real country and its leader in a fictional assassination scheme. While the film was clearly a satire and its villains were defeated, the government saw no humor in the topic, and the reference was deemed a serious transgression. The Malaysian Film Censorship Board even stated that if they were to cut all the offensive scenes, only about half the movie would remain. Eternals, 2021, banned in several Arab nations for featuring LGBTQ+ characters. Eternals is a superhero film based on the Marvel Comics series. It introduces a new group of immortal beings known as the Eternals, who were created by the Celestials and secretly sent to Earth over 7,000 years ago. Their mission was to protect humanity from the monstrous deviants. Having completed their task centuries ago, the group separated and lived among humanity, but are forced to reunite in the present day when the deviants mysteriously return. As they fight to save the world, they uncover a shocking truth about their own existence. The film was notably banned from theatrical release in several Arab nations, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait. While Disney and Marvel did not make an official statement, sources close to the production reported that the bans were a result of the studio's refusal to comply with censorship demands. The reason for the censorship was the inclusion of LGBTQ+ characters and a specific scene that featured the first on-screen same-sex kiss in the MCU. The character at the center of the controversy is Phastos, an Eternal who is a brilliant inventor and the first openly gay superhero in the franchise. The ban was triggered by a brief, chaste kiss between Phastos and Ben. This is not the first time a film with LGBTQ+ representation has been banned in the region, with titles like Lightyear and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness facing similar issues.
We have had the wheel 1,000 years, so...
You know, we could do that thing, where you use your mind to control them and then they could do it quicker.
Hey, Jack, you listen to this?
Barbie, 2023, banned in Vietnam. Directed by Greta Gerwig, Barbie is a live-action fantasy comedy film based on the iconic Mattel doll line. The story follows stereotypical Barbie, Margot Robbie, as she begins to experience an existential crisis, including thoughts of death and physical imperfections like flat feet. Advised by the eccentric Weird Barbie, she embarks on a journey to the real world to find the child playing with her and fix her state. Accompanying her is a stowaway Ken, Ryan Gosling, who, upon discovering the patriarchy, returns to Barbie Land to transform it into a male-dominated Mojo Dojo Casa house. The film's plot then becomes a battle for control of Barbie Land, forcing Barbie and her friends to confront complex ideas about feminism, identity, and gender roles. Despite its global popularity, Barbie was banned in Vietnam just days before its scheduled theatrical release. The reason for the ban was a fleeting scene in the film featuring a children's drawing of a world map. The map controversially included a series of dotted lines in the South China Sea, which appeared to be China's 9-dash line. This line is a unilateral and illegal claim by China to a vast portion of the resource-rich South China Sea, a claim that is vehemently rejected by Vietnam and other nations. For Vietnam, which has its own long-standing claims and has experienced military clashes with China in the disputed waters, the depiction of the 9-dash line in any form is a serious issue of national sovereignty. The ban underscored the significant geopolitical sensitivities that can impact even the most seemingly innocent forms of popular culture.
I'm stereotypical Barbie. I'm like the Barbie you think of when someone says, think of a Barbie. That's me.
Wonder Woman, 2017, banned in Lebanon, Tunisia, Qatar, and Kuwait. The plot introduces Diana, Princess of Themyscira, a secluded island paradise of Amazonian warriors. Her world is shattered when American spy Steve Trevor crash lands on the island, bringing news of a war to end all wars, consuming the outside world. Believing the conflict is the work of Ares, the god of war, Diana defies her mother and leaves with Steve. She journeys to the front lines of World War I, where she confronts the horrors of humanity, discovers her true power, and learns a fundamental truth about good, evil, and her place in the world. The film was widely praised for its empowering narrative. Despite its global acclaim and themes of peace and heroism, the film was banned in several Arab nations, including Qatar, Tunisia, and Kuwait. The reason for the ban was not related to the film's content, but was a direct political statement against its lead actress, Gal Gadot. A citizen of Israel, Gadot had served the mandatory 2-year service in the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, and had publicly voiced support for the IDF during the 2014 Gaza war. For these nations, which have historically supported the Palestinian cause and have maintained a long-standing boycott of Israeli products and individuals, allowing the film to screen would have been seen as a normalization of relations with Israel. The decision was an act of protest, intended to send a clear message that the countries would not endorse or financially support a film fronted by a figure who has publicly supported the Israeli military.
How can a woman possibly fight in this?
The Da Vinci Code, 2006, banned in Jordan, Egypt, Pakistan, and Vatican City. The Da Vinci Code, directed by Ron Howard, is a cinematic adaptation of Dan Brown's hugely successful 2003 novel. The plot follows a Harvard symbologist, Robert Langdon, Tom Hanks, who is called to the Louvre Museum after its curator is murdered. At the crime scene, he finds a series of cryptic puzzles and symbols left by the deceased. Teaming up with cryptologist Sophie Neveu, Langdon is plunged into a fast-paced quest across Europe, pursuing clues hidden in the works of Leonardo da Vinci. The heart of the mystery revolves around the true identity of the Holy Grail, which the film controversially posits is not a cup, but a person. Mary Magdalene, the wife of Jesus Christ, who carried his bloodline forward. The film's central premise was met with immediate and widespread outrage, leading to its ban in numerous nations, including Jordan, Egypt, Pakistan, and an official condemnation from the Vatican. These bans were not based on violence or explicit content, but on perceived blasphemy and religious offense. In Jordan and Egypt, authorities cited the film's tarnishing of Christian and Islamic religious symbols. The Vatican also called for a boycott, with officials labeling the film a sack full of lies that was offensive to Christ and the Catholic Church.
I did not ask if you believe what man says about God. I asked if you believe in God.
I'm an academic.
District 9, 2009, banned in Nigeria. District 9, a standalone science fiction thriller directed by Neil Blomkamp, is set in an alternate 2009 Johannesburg, South Africa. The film is presented in a pseudo-documentary style, detailing the arrival of a massive alien spaceship carrying 1 million malnourished insect-like extraterrestrials, derogatorily called prawns. Instead of conquering Earth, the aliens are refugees, and they are confined to a squalid, government-run slum known as District 9. The plot follows Wikus van der Merwe, a bureaucrat from the private corporation tasked with relocating the aliens. When Wikus is accidentally exposed to an alien substance, he begins a painful metamorphosis into a prawn himself, forcing him to flee into the slum and experience the aliens' plight firsthand. The film is a powerful allegory for xenophobia and apartheid, drawing clear parallels between the treatment of the aliens and South Africa's history of racial segregation. The reason for the ban was a direct result of the film's negative and stereotypical portrayal of Nigerian characters. In the movie, a ruthless Nigerian crime syndicate is depicted as violent, cannibalistic, and foolish, with a gang leader named Obasanjo. The name is a transparent reference to Nigeria's former president Olusegun Obasanjo. This portrayal deeply offended Nigerian officials and a large portion of the public. The Nigerian government, through its information minister, formally demanded that the film's producer, Sony Entertainment, apologize and remove the offending references. The ban served as a strong act of protest, highlighting how the country would not tolerate media that denigrated its people.